Mentioned earlier about a report that was recently released which looked at the mental health status of youngsters who are in the juvenile system. And our first question comes from Jennifer. She says, why is there a lack of mental care for children? And that report found that there are more children with mental health issues in the Louisiana juvenile justice system than in any other state. Are you surprised by that?
I've seen it. It's appalling. The problem we have is people are using the juvenile justice system instead of the mental health system. There's no logical reason for it. It's budget cuts. The Office of Children who should be receiving mental health treatment are ending up being arrested for whatever mental health problem they have, and you're ending up criminalizing being mentally ill. This has been going on for years. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed by more services in the community as opposed to putting them in prison and thinking a prison is going to solve someone's mental health problem.
Almost like a human rights issue. It's like
this
is a child who's obviously got health issues. It happens to be mental health versus physical health, and can't restrain his or her behavior. And instead of recognizing that, they're just treating them like a kid who steals a car or does something else that they should be able to.
Now,
they should treat it differently.
In the defense of the Office of Juvenile Justice, they do have mental health treatment in the facilities. They do. If you get locked up in the state facility, there are mental health units that they can treat the children. The sad thing is that the children shouldn't be there in the first place.
Yeah.
They should have been diverted out and had mental health services instead of being incarcerated.
Right. Earlier I mentioned the Louisiana model. We didn't really explain that, but when you talk about reform, here it's called the Louisiana model, but it's patterned after the Missouri model.
That's
Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
It is a more therapeutic model than a lock them up and throw away the key model. The idea is to have a child in as close to a home-like environment as possible instead of as close to a prison environment, an institutional environment.
Yeah, the reason is if you lock them up, you might as well throw away the key, because when you put a child in with other criminals, the child is basically learning how to become a criminal as opposed to learning how to address the issues that got the child into the criminal trouble in the first place.
Right. Back prior to the 2003 reforms, the system was called the Louisiana Training Institute. The only thing that I, from my experience, thought that these children were trained to do was to steal Dodge automobiles.
Wow.
That's awful.
But it makes sense. If you are a parent, you know, and if you ever were a teenager, which I was, you know. At that age, your friends, your peer group are the most important thing to you. You're trying to learn how to work your way through the world, and the people that you associate with become who you are.
Right.
You know, you assume their identity.
Right.